This is the suicide disease. He had a date picked out. He wrote a book about it. He's a nationally known speaker and author. His name is Dr. James Tomasky.
I really appreciate what you're doing and how you're offering. I wish that something like that would have been going on when I was in my thresholds of such pain that I felt I had no other alternative other than committing suicide. The disease that I had is trigeminal neuralgia, TN, but it's really better known as the facial pain or the suicide disease if you look at it up on the web.
Wow.
It's the only, there is no cure for it. There's no way you get out of it other unless the Lord, and thank God the Lord is more than able to do it. If the Lord stops it, then it's all over and you don't have to worry about it. If it doesn't, we have two options, or well, actually we have more now, but in those days we had two options: continue to take more drugs and become like a zombie until you kind of finally just didn't care anymore, or a surgery that had about a 20% chance of working. Costs in those days $40,000. Today it costs $72,000, and it still has about a 20% chance of working.
Wow.
So, but thank God, he arranged a time for my wife to hear about one of you doctors. It was an upper cervical doctor in Oklahoma City, and Rhonda made arrangements for me to go. And I guess my biggest thought after it was all over with, obviously I didn't kill myself, and obviously the pain is gone and I'm cleared up. But I like your listening audience, I didn't know. Nobody told me about you. Nobody mentioned that this was out here and that we had an opportunity to take advantage of it. In those days, 13 years ago, we were able to track down about 200 of you, and of course, it's grown now. It's much larger than that, but still not enough. And boy, I'm going to stand right alongside of you, encouraging those that are hearing this right now. This isn't a mistake. This isn't, I just happenstance turn on the radio program and I'm listening to this. I truly believe this is the Lord. For those that are in need, I believe this is the Lord answering prayer. You've been asking for help. You've been praying for it. You've had your prayer warriors pray with you, asking for help. And the Lord, as you know and as I know, works in very mysterious ways. He even uses folks on radio stations to tell us about things. And this was my answer. A woman was speaking, not unlike what we're doing today, was speaking as my wife was driving to buy groceries. I was 3 days from killing myself. I had picked a Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because the house was empty and I didn't want my wife to hear the gunshot. She was going to be with our youngest son, who was taking soccer practice at that time. And she heard this same type of radio station with two women talking about upper cervical and what it can do. And my wife heard it, and she instantly knew that the Lord was speaking to her and using this. And she brought it home, and I just blew it off. I said, you got to be kidding. I can't even imagine that would work. In fact, I don't even know what an upper cervical or a doctor is, whatever that is. It makes no sense to me. And she says, well, we have an opportunity to go and see and understand, and then you let your spirit be your guide once we get there. And that's exactly what we did. I went on Tuesday, 10 in the morning, and they have to first take x-rays because they want to be able to look at your head and neck and make certain and exactly where those bones are, because it's kind of like, I always think of it like suffocation. If somebody was choking you, we'd be suffocating. We can't breathe. And our nervous system is the same way. If it's got a subluxation or if there's something up there that's not quite right in the top of the neck, it's like it's choking us. It's cutting off all of our nerve supply. And that's what begins to shut us down and grow the disease and do the work. So I didn't understand any of that either until it happened. And once it did happen, it was... well, here today. And the Lord immediately said, I want you to go. This is my gift to the kingdom. I want you to go and tell my kids about it. And I thought, okay, And we've been on that road for 13 years and still haven't stopped. We just got back from Europe. Several offices are opening up over in Europe right now. The excitement is growing quite well. We're talking no surgery. We're talking it's not invasive, so we're not going to do anything. We don't have to take anything into our body to do this. We're simply talking about opening up our nerves and allow us to do the work. And I know that sounds a little complicated, but it's not. What you folks do just blows me away. I simply know it's simple for me, not for you, because it requires an expert to do it. But to be able to do it, I have no pain. I have, in 13 years, I don't even take an aspirin. I'm 72 years old. We just got back from Europe. We travel the world constantly, and I am full of energy, alive, want to go do, and I owe it all to simply getting my head on straight. They got my head back where it was right, and my brain began to talk to my body, and I began to heal myself. And it sounds almost too simple to be true. But I'm saying again, please, if you have anyone in your sphere, of your family, of your work, of your networking, of where you are, in your church, this is of the Lord. He designed our body to do this, and these doctors have a way of making the body work like the Lord designed us to do.